I completed a full 100 days in Stardew Valley. Now, as someone who's a slight beginner, this was quite the challenge, and I'm pretty excited. There's so much I know and don't know, and I'm still learning, so this is kind of a mix mash, slightly absolute mess. As far as goals go, there wasn't much. I really just wanted to complete the community center and just see how far I can challenge myself to advance in the game. I wanted to collect a good amount of collectibles and of course make my farm look aesthetically pleasing. So with all that, let's get started. Of course, we began by making a fresh and brand new save. I had a pretty good idea of how I wanted to make my person look, except when it came to the dang clothes. I went with Little Cafe for my farm name. Frankly, I couldn't think of anything else. And of course, iced coffee is my absolute fave. As far as farm types, I'm not sure what's the best and what's the most ideal. I figured since this is kind of my first 100 days actually challenging myself in the game, I went with the standard farm. We start with our grandpa on his poor deathbed giving us a letter. Today's our last day at Joja and we're saying bye to that hot cowboy and getting on that bus and heading to Stardew Valley. Day one began as any other. I got my parsnip seeds and headed out to clear my land. And I cleared my land. After spending what felt like 8 years clearing everything out, we started hoeing the land, watering, and placing those first 15 parsnip seeds, which are gonna make us bank. I went around looking for forageables, specifically spring onions, and I ran into Haley, Penny, Marnie, Emily, Vincent, Jody, Harvey, and Evelyn. And finally, Caroline, who's gonna give me that precious tea sapling. So she's gonna become my best friend so fast. I went into Pierre's and met Leah and then also Pierre. And I went and bought some seeds, specifically potato seeds, to make me some money these first few days of spring. I went to meet George, who hates me. And then I found Alex just, lifting. Okay, bye. Then I met Maru, Abigail, Elliot, Demetrius, Robin, and still found I'm missing people. So I met Linus and went to work to plant those potatoes I went and bought. And I watered and planted them without thinking about the crows. I rejuvenated my health with a field snack and then got to work chopping down a couple trees just to open up my space a bit and make a chest to store some of my first few items. And that's the end of day one. With day two in full spring, we go out and do our morning chores, which right now is just spending like 2 hours watering my crops. That's like all my day consists of in the early game. I got mail from Pierre telling me he has an affordable backpack upgrade. I know that's a lie. So I went to go see his wife instead and give her a gift because I want to have her green tea. And I went down to the dock, of course, to get my fishing rod from Willie, who was so kind to gift us an old one he just had lying around. And I'll be honest, I spent the next couple hours fishing. And fishing when your green bar is so tiny is a feat, but I made some progress and I caught a couple different types of fish. And look at my green bar being bigger than when we started. I left the beach and I saw Sam and I gifted him a cola. I met Sebastian as well and I sold a lot of my fish. I went to bed and I leveled up my foraging and fishing and we made a couple pennies. Day 3 was raining, but in my book, that's a good luck day because I don't have to water my plants and I can get a jump start on my day. So I went down to the beach and collected some forageables. I went to meet Clint. I completely forgot Pierce's closed on Wednesday, so I couldn't buy more crops. I went and sold my forageables and headed up to the lake by the cave to go fishing, which I pretty much did my entire day. But once I was bored of that, I went and grabbed some more spring onions because these are great for gifting. And I sold a lot of my fish. Overnight, I leveled up fishing and made a couple more G's. Day 4 and that pesky crow finally came to get me. Hat Mouse wanted every cent I own, so I went along with my daily chores and watered everything. 2 hours later, here we are. It's my daily ritual to go to Pierre's, not for him, but for his wife. Please love me. I couldn't tell you why I was running around here, but period. I went to the beach, snatched up some forageables, and then took them to Gunther, who gave me a cutscene about donating, which was actually quite boring, so I dipped. Believe it or not, Jazz was the last NPC I had to meet, and she hates me. Next quest was to give someone something, and let's just say she hates me even more now, but I got my reward. I guess I was not feeling day 4 because I went to bed at 3:30 p.m. Day 5, aka the best day, Marnie greeted me with a dog, which I named Tombo after my dog. I don't know who would say no to adopting a dog. Now that I have a buddy on my farm, I gave him some pets and had my first parsnip harvest. Day 5 in Stardew Valley truly is a magical day. I wish I could tell you we got this fishing rod, but we don't. First day checking the magical cart, and she had nothing, which may end up being a theme for this save. Because of the day 5 magic, I got my community center cutscene. Thank you, Lewis. I'm gonna fix it, don't you worry. Today's special because I went to Pierre's for Pierre and bought some seeds to replant my garden. Following that, I went to the community center to read a plaque which I can't yet understand. And off day 5 magic was Marlon telling me about the mines, which may have monsters, but have no fear, I have a rusty sword and I'm going right in. Pretty much in these mines, it's just your goal to go deeper and deeper because there's absolutely nothing, so I made it down to floor 5. Found a couple things and realized I left a sword, which would have been better, and I left a mine. I regret, but here I am planting parsnips. Overnight, we leveled up our farming, and that ends off day 5. Day 6, of course, pet my dog. And knocking on my door is Weirdo Clint, but it's great. He gave me a furnace recipe, which we of course use. I went over to the wizard's tower, and he actually took me on a trip, but at least I can understand Junimos now. Back on my farm, I cut down trees, because what I do not have is wood. I made my first scarecrow because I have PTSD from the day 3 crow, and I went back to the community center to see those bundles that we got. And it was at this moment that I realized I did not turn on year 1 completion. So in this moment, I have given up on the community center completion. I shouldn't have given up. But it's okay. I stand out in the rain like a loser and go fishing for the next 10 hours of my life. I got some good fish, but of course I was not even thinking about the community center, so I just sold them away. But do not fret, because 0.2 seconds later, I am back on that community center grind and I complete my first bundle, which actually unlocked some spring seeds, which is so helpful for the tea saplings, which means money. I guess I just ran around and then I went to bed and, like always, made absolutely no money. Yay for day 7, I did the best and worst part of early game, which is taking hours to water my crops, but we had our first potato harvest, which means money. With Pierre, I went and bought some more potato seeds to restock my farm, and then even bought some seeds I'll be needing for the community center, because again, I am back on that grind. I am not letting one silly little red cabbage get me down, so I replant everything I just bought. And of course, I clear some space for those new crops for those bundles, because community center. Of course, I had to give Caroline a parsnip because she asked for one and I do anything she says. And then I gave her a gift because, again, I need her tea. I made my way down to the mines where I didn't find much but letters, and I made my way all the way down to level 10 where I got gifted these pretty mediocre boots, but we take what we can get. I went to go see Marlon to unlock the Adventurers Guild. I made my way home, I crafted my first furnace, and then went to bed. I leveled up my mining and made 120 Gs. Day 8 rolls around, and of course I'm watering my plants, but I decided I'm gonna do my daily chores, and you're just gonna have to assume they're done. Doing this will save time, and we will see some quicker progress. I made my way down to the beach, and I got some forageables, and believe it or not, I went fishing until I got the fish I needed for the, stay with me, but bundles at the community center. I still have a long way to go, so I went fishing up top to try to get some other fish that I also need for the community center. At 11:30, I made my way home, which unlocked a cutscene with Linus where he's digging through the trash. But guess what? I told him, you better keep digging through the trash. And then I donated some fish to my bundles, sold the rest, and went off to bed, where I leveled up fishing, and I made a rough 568 Gs. This morning I had yet another parsnip harvest, and I went straight to Caroline to activate her tea cutscene, which is just one of my faves. And I wait till tomorrow to get that recipe. I did a bit of fishing, and then I donated to that crab pot bundle, went to Pierre's to buy some more seeds, and went home to plant them. I spent the rest of the day finding some forageables and fiber for that tea sapling recipe, and went to bed leveling up my foraging and fishing. Day 10 is a rainy day, and I finally got that tea sapling. So you know what we're gonna do today? Harvest our carrots and make some tea saplings. Spent the first hour of my day collecting everything I could to make as many tea saplings as I possibly could, and I sold them all off. I probably won't show you, but I will be checking the trash daily. And I also came in here to give Vincent a birthday present, which he's a thankful guy. And believe it or not, I spent the rest of my day fishing until it was too late and I had to head home. Day 11, I went straight into the mines and got to work trying to get a bit lower than my level 5. On mining, I got a book and this cute hat which I wore right away, and I made some easy progress on the mines before leaving and going out looking for some forageables. I also found Robin's axe, and I did some work around my farm before heading through town to give Robin her axe. I looked for her at the saloon, she wasn't there, and of course her house was locked. Day 12, I got $500 from my dad. I went to the magical cart, which of course had nothing, and then I went to Robin's house to give her her axe to complete the quest, and then headed down into the mine. I made a good 5 levels down to 15 and killed this crab, which gave me a crab perfect for my bundles. Then I promptly left the mine on the death floor. I donated that crab to the community center and went to bed for the night. Day 13, I placed a scarecrow because I'm scared, and I harvested some tulips, parsnips, and finally some potatoes and carrots, which may or may not have leveled up my skill. Then the egg festival has begun, where I of course bought a ton of strawberry seeds and talked to as many people as possible before starting the egg hunt, which of course I whooped everyone's butt. I went home and planted those strawberry seeds and then headed off to bed. Day 14, Magical Cart Lady had a walleye, which I bought because I can use that in the community center, and then I went off to Pierre's to restock on seeds for my garden, and I finally purchased that backpack upgrade, which I used right away to organize my backpack, and then I went off to the community center to donate that walleye, and then went off fishing to hopefully catch more fish for my community center, which I did. I donated that crab pot bundle and even finished that night fishing bundle. Once I was home, I planted those seeds I bought and then headed off to bed, where I leveled up foraging and fishing, which I went with the fisher profession. Day 15 is what I like to call a simple day. We got the sewer cutscene, and then I went off and harvested as many salmon berries and fiber as I could. I then spent the rest of the day fishing, literally the rest of the day, and then I went home at night, sold some fish, and called it a day. I'd like to tell you day 16 was much different, but I literally fished all day until I used my very last piece of bait. I then donated to the crab pot bundle and leveled up my fishing overnight. On day 17, after my morning chores, I was in the mine literally all day until about 10 o'clock, where I reached level 25. I then went home and leveled up my farming and mining. This morning when I went into Pierre's, I had Morris walking in and offering everyone a coupon, which I turned my back to and bought from Pierre literally right away. I went over to Clint and opened up some geodes, which of course as always were useless, but I had a couple things to donate to the museum for my days of mining. I then gave Demetrius a parsnip, which I guess required a prize ticket, which I took straight to Lewis's house, got some carrot seeds, and then I was waiting in the saloon all day for Pam to show up just so I could show her I did indeed remember her birthday. I went home and I planted some parsnips and cauliflower on my farm, and then of course all those new carrots I got. Day 19 was Jodi's birthday, so I tasked myself with taking her a parsnip, which she actually surprisingly liked. Interesting. I took a cave carrot to Demetrius to finish off a quest, and I made my way to the community center to finally complete our spring crops bundle. I feel like I'm constantly reminded I don't have year 1 completion. Anyway, the traveling cart lady had absolutely nothing. Okay, wood floor. And then I spent the rest of my day, of course, doing what I do best, clearing out land on my farm for one day, as having a beautiful farm. And I went to bed. Day 20 gifted us with a beautiful tulip harvest, and I went to Clint to get my copper axe, and you'll never guess where I went next. Okay, I made some great progress in the mines today, so I spent most of my day in the mines. On floor 40, I got a slingshot, and I went home. At last, on day 21, we had our first strawberry harvest. I went to the magical cart, and if you guessed it, she had nothing. Once again, absolutely nothing. At Pierre's, I went ahead and restocked on some seeds, and if I wasn't predictable enough, of course I went into the mines. But listen, I realized I have so much more to go, and I'm on day 20. But I left quite early so I could go home and plant some seeds before turning in for the night. On day 22, I harvested some carrots and parsnips, and I planted some speed grow for those parsnips I'm about to buy from Pierre's. We'll get back to that later because I went to upgrade my pickaxe to a copper pickaxe and then planted in the speed grow on my parsnips so we would get them quicker. And I went up to finally get a coop, which actually I have no money for. So I went to bed to make some money. I upgraded my fortune and I made no money. Not to fret though, because today I made some tappers because I realized if I want to make money, I need to be more creative with actually making money. After the tappers, I got some spring onions and I did some foraging because what else do I do? I got some fiber and then I tried to pet my dog and went to bed. This morning, I chopped some trees before going to the dreaded flower festival where I did buy my favorite rare crow. She's just the cutest ever. And then I sadly, of course, had to sit in the corner and watch like a loner. But then I went home, placed my rare crow, and then went to bed. Day 25, I had Demetrius asking me about my cave, in which I chose the fruit bats. I had another strawberry harvest and, of course, another parsnip harvest. I went down to the beach to pick up all of these delicious forageables. I went to Clint and picked up my copper pickaxe. The mines hate to see me coming. And I had Clint open up some geodes, and if you know by now, this early on in the game, they're mid. I did get to donate a few things to Gunther, which actually gave me a starfruit seed, which we will be saving for later. I had a ticket, which gave me a sapling, and then I went and got a couple seeds from Pierre, planted those, and then I literally fished my day away. Overnight though, I have the level 5 farming, which I chose rancher. The next day, I harvested and sold some pickles and put some strawberries back in the barrels. I went down to the beach and went fishing until like 10, and then I donated some things to Gunther, and I gifted Pierre some bread for his birthday. I went into the mines because I'm determined to finish them and get the dang key, but then before I knew it, I realized it was Friday and I need to get to my magical cart. But as always, she had, next to nothing for me. I went and grabbed some spring onions and then went fishing for a bit, but not too long before heading over to the saloon to buy a coffee to gift to Harvey, because even if I don't accomplish it, I want him to love me. I got level 5 foraging, and for the first time, I actually picked Forester. This just seemed more beneficial for this playthrough specifically. This morning I had a potato and tulip harvest, and I had to wait a very long time for Pierre to finally open. And once he did, I went in and bought some more potatoes to replace the ones I just harvested. I went into the mines for a while, not for anything particular, just wanted to get a little bit of mining done while I had some extra time in my afternoon. Today was actually Emily's birthday, so I went up to the saloon and gave her some quartz, and I sat and waited. Waited until Clint came up and gave him some ores for a quest. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I planted some potatoes. Then I went over to the community center to harvest 2 of the winter forageables for the bundle. The start of day 28 was actually me clearing out more of my farm, as always. But the good news of today is that we were finally able to build that chicken coop that I embarrassingly couldn't build a couple days ago. So we're now going to get chickens on our farm, which is very exciting. If you don't know, at 12 p.m. on the 28th day of every season, you can shake this bush and get a Junimo plush. So I spent like 5 hours waiting for it to be 12 p.m. Anyways, we ran over to that super magical cart, and as always, there really wasn't much, but I did get a ghost fish, which I do need for the community center. The rest of the day, I spent time preparing my garden for the new crop, which meant getting rid of all of my old crops, which is a sad day. Now I have to warn you, I'm clearing land to do one of the biggest mistakes I have made so far in this playthrough. I built this huge garden in preparations for iridium sprinklers, which I don't get for so long, so you'll have to deal with this for about a season, and then I get rid of it and it's gone. Anyways, then we go to bed. Unfortunately today I continued still working on that farm. I buy all the crops to fill it, and I actually spend so much money I literally don't know where it all went. I just watched it go down, and this is where things start to go downhill. Of course, this farm is set up for iridium sprinklers, which I don't even have quality sprinklers. So the seeds are just mixed up. It's a mess. I'm gonna have to manually water all of this every day. Like, I've never had such a bad farm layout in my time playing this game. I've actually never been so lucky. Today it is raining, so I don't have to feel the pain of watering this, but I do place down another basic sprinkler before I go fishing, and then I head over to Pierre's to buy a couple more crops for my mess of a garden. But I go ahead and plant that melon farm to be completed, and then I plant some blueberries. I went fishing to get some summer fish, specifically the sturgeon, and I actually got it. So I went straight to that community center to finish the lake fish bundle, and I kept fishing in different locations for the rest of the day before I went home and heard an earthquake in the night. Today I went straight down to Marnie's to buy my first chicken, and in this save we were going after granny names, so I did Agnes and Agatha, and there were my little babies, and I watered my plants. Anyways, I cleared some land. Then I went up to build a silo. I was finally able to finish my summer crops bundle, which gave me some summer seeds, and then I went up and finished that crab paw bundle. To finish off day 31, I made and sold some tea saplings and went to bed. Day 32 meant more watering, which I'm going to stop showing you. I just want to make sure you get my pain. I went and pet my chickens and harvested my jelly and sold my jelly, and then I went down to Marnie's to give her a gift because I need the mare's shorts. I did a bit of fishing to get some fish for the bundles, and then I got a cutscene with Willie, which I just skipped. And then I sold some of my fish to Willie before making my way to the community center to give a fish to the ocean bundle, and I actually made my first vault bundle donation of 2,500 Gs. Day 32 was another rain day, which is lucky for me. I did my chicken duties, and then I headed down to the magical cart, which actually had a couple of things I took. I went over to Marnie's house to gift her per the dang shorts, and then I went down to go fishing for a while. I got the 2 fish I needed to finish the ocean fish bundle. Yay! And of course, I went mining for a while just to see if I could make some more progress because I'm really trying to get to the bottom of the mine so I can unlock the skull caverns. I mined all the way until 12 a.m. and my dog was not letting me in. Day 34, my silo was finally done, so I went around and collected some hay so I could feed my chickens. I donated to the summer crops, the field research, enchanters bundle, adventurers bundle, which I finished, and then the blacksmith bundle. Day 35 was off to a great start. I collected my jellies, which I sold right away. I went to pet my chickens, which were fully grown, which meant we had our first egg collection. Just like every day, Marnie gets her tulip because I need the shorts. And I went to the magical cart lady who had a sandfish, so I bought that for the bundle, and that was all she had for me. I took the fish to the bundle and now I have 2 out of 4, and I also donated a cave root and went fishing for quite some time. Mostly the whole day, until about 10, I went home and leveled up fishing. Today we had our first harvest from our ugly garden, and I finally upgraded my pickaxe to steel. I do some fishing for a while, but I just wanted to say I did take care of my chickens today, but I'm going to start not showing you for the sake of time, just like with watering crops every day. I also got the trash catalog from opening too many trash cans, and there was really nothing I needed, but it's a cool thing to have collected. Not quite sure what happened today, but I got a prize ticket, which gave me mixed flowers, and then I did some running around. And then I got some iron bars and went to bed. But now I can find mystery boxes. That's pretty cool. The Marnie gifting spree never stops because I swear I can't get this girl to 2 hearts to save my life. I went to Clint to pick up my steel pickaxe, which I of course had to take for a test run and head down to the mines. And I left around 1 a.m. Today was a pretty good day because I got to collect some pickles, and of course I sold them right away. I went down to the luau, but I actually had nothing to give but a golden egg, and they hated it. So unsuccessful luau this year. Bummer. Today was a rainy day, which meant I had some extra time to not water my crops. I forgot about my fruit bag cave. I checked it, and let's just say there was nothing to write home about. I went to the community center and donated some wheat to the bundles, and went over to Clint to process some geodes, which, if you can guess it, really had nothing that great for me. But I did give him my axe to make into a steel axe, and I went to donate some things to Gunther, and went over to Marnie to give her a gift and found out I love her way too much. So then I went to the traveling cart lady, who, as always, had nothing for me. I did some random fishing at the waterfall in the forest, and then made my way up through town to sell off some random tools and weapons I had. I donated to the research bundle, cleared some trees and fiber at my farm, made some tea saplings, and called it a day. Day 41, I did some random work around my farm, harvesting, collecting, all the fun juicy things. Then I actually made my first bee house, which I placed down to start collecting some honey, and I made a cheese press and realized I actually don't have cows, so that was an accident. So we went in and made a mayo press, which we can start using right away. I went and donated a tomato to the bundles and went into the mine purely just to start collecting some stone so I can get some buildings built and just have a plethora of resources. Day 42 was fun because we had our first mayo harvest and our first large melon harvest. I got enough gold star melons to donate to the quality crops bundle, and then also to the summer crops bundle, and my first egg in the animal bundle. I banged Clint's desk and got my axe, and went off to get some fiber for some more tea saplings. As always, the magical cart didn't have a bunch, but there was a mushroom I grabbed so I could just take it to the community center. At home, I took away some rocks for more resources and then went ahead and finished that exotic foraging bundle to complete it. I went to Pierre's to stock up on some more melon seeds, and instead of placing them in my terrible garden that I'm currently living in, I decided to start work on my permanent garden, and that's where I'll plant my new blueberries and also my melon seeds. I put a little scarecrow down here so no crows would come and get my beautiful melons, and I put a basic sprinkler at least to make watering daily a bit less time consuming. I collected my mayo and jelly and sold it right away, of course. This morning I went and put some eggs in our mayo machines and got a good harvest of sunflowers and blueberries this morning, and our first star fruit, which I will be saving for a little bit. I went and found Marnie to gift her one of my freshly picked sunflowers and completed that summer crops bundle at the community center, and I got a quality sprinkler. I also put a sunflower in that dye bundle and finally committed to buying the calendar so I stopped forgetting everyone's birthdays. Also, while I was here, I bought a bunch of flooring recipes for paths. Once I was home, I got to place that quality sprinkler, which was going to make my life so much easier. And today, I decided to pick between my two paths and get started on some decorating around my new garden. I went with the rustic path because it's just my favorite. It looks so good. Day 44, I donated to some bundles, went and did some foraging and collecting outside of my farm before returning back home to cut down some trees and also prepare the grass for where our new garden and place for our farms will be. Day 45, I got some honey, checked out the fruit bat cave, which actually had exactly what I need to donate to my artistry bundle. I started clearing away this horrendous farm as much as I could while still growing the crops I had. I donate to my artisan bundle, and then I go down into the mines and get some mining done. I feel like I finally made progress as I got another slingshot. Day 46, I went to Clint and had him open some geodes, which didn't have anything that was that useful to me, but that's okay because I went to Gunther and donated my last dwarf scroll. And somehow today was the first day I went into the secret woods and got my first hardwood run done. Not sure why it took me so long to come in here for more than just fishing, but today was the day, and I even snuck in some fishing. I donated that fiddlehead fern to the chef's bundle and went home and cleared some more space on my farm to put the coops and barns for some animals. The last thing I did was finish my little path. Day 47 was me going to the magical cart lady and finding nothing. I mean, that has not changed. I went to Marnie to gift her, and I gifted Demetrius because it's his birthday and he's so freaking weird. I also moved my house, my shipping bin, my coop, and my silo to make space for the expansions. I finally built a barn and I cannot wait to get cows. I put it right behind my coop, and then I made my way into the mines yet again. My reward for making it to day 80 was some boots. So anyways, I kept on moving and tried to get a good amount of resources before leaving and going home around 1:30. And I actually passed out right at the top of my farm. Day 48 was the start of the 2-day event Trout Derby. This Trout Derby was giving me nothing but pain and stress because I could not catch a dang golden tag. But anyways, I got a couple good rewards, and then I just decided to call it quits a bit early on. I didn't stick around all day, but I got a couple fun things that I enjoyed. And day 49, I got money from Pierre for just being a customer. Cool. We got some honey and jelly, which is my favorite part of the day, and I was able to make my very own quality sprinklers to bring down to my new garden. I cut down some trees around where Robin was working, and then I put some eggs in the mayo machine and then continued to cut down some trees just to open up the space around where this barn is going to be. I did move my preserve jars down by the garden because then when I harvest I can just put them right in the jar. I had a geode sesh with Clint and I got a prismatic shard. I had to take a minute to just breathe because I was not expecting that. And then everything else I got was just lame. I made a couple donations to the museum, not the prismatic shard, you know exactly where I'm taking that. And I went to the community center to complete a bundle. Day 50 marks our halfway point for this video because unlike some, I'm not playing the whole year, just playing the full 100 days. I can't believe we're already halfway done. I feel like I've done nothing. Anyways, I moved my mayo maker, my cheese processor, and my honey maker down by the garden as well. And then I went over to Marnie's house, and much to my surprise, she wasn't there. I was like, girl, are you kidding me? So I made some quality sprinklers and I put them down in our new and improved garden to make prepping space for when we get a bunch of new crops once fall comes around. At the community center, I completed a research bundle and as well as the one in the boiler room. I was feeling pretty good about my community center progress, so I went into the mines, but I actually did not make it any further than floor 87 before I went home for the night. I actually passed out on my way home, but I was met with this beautiful Junimo cutscene. Today on 51 was the weird green rain. Gus told me everyone can take shelter in his saloon, so we will go pay everyone a visit later on. But I took advantage of the day, got some wood, some sap. I just stocked up on everything. I talked to Demetrius and he was, chill. Him and Linus were the only people not in the saloon. Then I went over to Pierre's and found a couple people tucked away in there before heading over to the saloon and talking to as many people as I could, which I think I made it to everyone. Moral of the story, they all thought they were gonna die. I finished off the day getting a ton of fiber. Day 52, I went ahead and got some mayo and tucked it away, and I placed down our quality sprinklers just so they're there for when we decide we need them. I went over to Marnie's and got some cows, Eleanor and Ophelia. I brought all my geodes over to Clint, and of course we got nothing as good as a prismatic shard, but we got a couple good things, and I took them over to Gunther. I went for broke and bought another bundle in the community center, and went and did some pathing in my new garden just so things can look a little more clean. The morning of 53, we had a huge jelly production, which I sold right away, of course. I brought hot pepper to George to complete a quest, and I purchased the 10,000 G bundle. I gave Demetrius a melon to complete a task, then went down into the mines and stayed literally as long as I could before passing out, and at 1:30 a.m. I made it to floor 95. And then had to leave. But at least I got a good sword upgrade. Day 54, I had another great melon harvest I'm super excited for. And then I collected some mushrooms, which I always forget that this is an option. And I decided today I wanted to make a keg so I could get that starfruit to use. I went over to Clint's and processed some geodes, which again, I didn't get much of anything from, but I placed down a couple kegs and put in some starfruit, strawberries, and melons. I went to that magical cart, and you guessed it, I found nothing. And I have no clue what was happening here. There was like 20 minutes of just what you're looking at right now. Day 55, and we had a battery harvest, which is amazing, and our first bunch of blueberries. I went and bought some corn because this can last until fall, and I finished the construction bundle. Yay! I went ahead and made some space for this corn in the place that I know I would like it for summer and for fall because it would be here for a while. And I went over and decided to start doing some pathing in front of my house, over to the pathways, down by my fish pond, just making everything look more complete and homey. It took me long enough. Day 56 was Demetrius telling me about the moonlight jellies, which meant summer was coming to a close. And I couldn't believe it. I feel like we've moved so fast, but not moved at all. So I finished getting all of my crops for the final day, adding a little bit more pathing just to get it all finished up and feeling completed. Our final magical cart, and I got the goat milk I need for my bundle. I was so excited. I started mapping out an area for another farm because I knew once pumpkins came, we would want it. And then I went and watched the moonlight jellies. Happy fall, day 57. Our farm looks ugly. I went and collected some jellies and pickles, sold it, and then finally got rid of this horrendous garden. I made some land for the new crops that I went and bought from Pierre. I bought a plethora of pumpkins and a couple other things and made my way home to get them all planted up and started growing. I did plant the pumpkins on a quality fertilizer, hoping we could get some gold star ones for our bundles and just for money. With everything planted, we ended off the night. On day 57, Lewis and Robin introduced the quest board, and I went and got some more seeds from Pierre, just a couple things I forgot yesterday that I know I'm gonna want. Then I spent the rest of the day fishing because we have fall fish, baby, and I fell asleep right in front of my house, like always. On day 59, my dad gifted me with some stone. Thank you so much, King. And I sold some fish, and I decided I would show you that my chickens and cows are still alive and thriving. My grannies. I came into the secret forest specifically because you could come in here on a rainy day to catch a catfish, which I needed for my bundles, and lucky me guys, I got it. So I ran straight there. I got my manis, sold it of course, and went to my bundles and finally completed that river fish bundle. And I also completed my specialty fish bundle right after. I went and donated some things to Demetrius. He gave me a chicken statue, which I will be putting outside of my chicken coop, obviously. I did a little more path work, and then I saw those Junimos. Day 60 was Willie telling me about panning, which I promise you I'm never gonna do. And I went and finished my fall foraging bundle, and I did a ton of fishing. Then I made a good sell at the end of the night. Day 61 was the magical cart lady having nothing for me, and then I committed. I locked in, and I went hard at this mine. I was fully determined to go to places of the unseen. On level 100, I got that star drop, which reminded me of iced coffee, and this was just the start. I kept going and going and going until I made it to floor 110, and I literally had to warp totem home. Crying. Day 62, I had jelly and pale ale, which I sold all but one, which I'm keeping for Pam. And I finally went to Marnie, whom I've been neglecting on the gifting, and I had Clint open up some geodes, and then I donated some wine to the Enchantress bundle and bought some more seeds from Pierre. Then I waited for hours and hours for Pam to come to the saloon, and I completed this like years later. And I began some slight organization. Day 63, and I put some fences around the farming area. I think this just makes it look organized, and I like them. I did a good harvest, and I bought that last money bundle, which means we have the desert. I cannot wait. I sold some mayo, and I donated to one more bundle for the day. I went to the magical cart, which, believe it or not, had nothing. So I went up to Robin and had her help me reorganize a couple things on my farm just to make the space more cohesive. And tonight, my Junimo babies came and fixed my buzz. On day 64, I gave Linus his basket and made my way to the first ever visit to Calico Desert, where I got some beet seeds and I got my new sword. So thankful for that prismatic shard. And I decided to go to the mines, and then I realized I haven't made it to the end of my own mine, so I can't go to the Skull Caverns, so I went home. And what did I do when I got home? I went mining because I was determined to get that dang skull key, and there it was. So day 65 I logged in, I was waiting for Pam, and we made our way to Calico Desert, and I went into the skull mines, being greeted. Hello. I didn't bring bombs or anything, I didn't bring food, like I really just wanted this to be, let's see how far we can get. And believe it or not, this was one of my best runs in this whole 100 days, which just aggravates me. But I got a rabbit's foot, which was the best find of the day. And I just had fun. I stayed here until I couldn't anymore, and I went home around 1 a.m. Day 66, we got a quest from Mr. Key, which we actually completed right away. I harvested some sunflowers, which I will be gifting. I also got some wheat harvested, some bok choy, and a second batch of pumpkins, and I replanted those right away. And I replanted with the seeds I had, so it was kind of random. Anyways, then I went over and finished a quest with Marnie with the amaranth, and I finally got the shorts. I wonder how long I had those and didn't know they were accessible. Anyways, I went to pop open some geodes. I got a couple good things. I added a few things to the bundles and completed one and finished that Enchanter's bundle finally. And I got another scarecrow, add to my collection. I did some tree chopping, and that was the end of the day. On day 67, I had Marnie banging on my door, and as I told you, I got that 10k. And then I went and had a cutscene with Marnie with the cave carrot that she requested earlier. And then I went and bought some more seeds from Pierre because I had used a couple. I gifted Jody a blueberry and she loved it. I harvested some jelly, which I sold right away, and I upgraded my coop finally. Day 68, I finished the fall crops bundle, persuaded Harvey into falling in love with me. Then I went to the magical cart lady, which actually had something I needed today, which was the wool. So I bought that and went straight to the community center and completed the animal bundle. I had a harvest of strawberry wine, which I put with more strawberries and pumpkins. I did some night fishing for a while before heading over to the saloon to do a round of beers on me for the friendships. On day 69, we got a duck named Dorothy. I went ahead and finished my quality crops bundle, which unlocked the greenhouse finally. I went and bought some starfruit seeds for said greenhouse, and then I watched the beautiful cutscene of the Junimos fixing my greenhouse and that raccoon flying out. Day 70 was amazing because we had our first huge pumpkin harvest. I went and gifted Pam, Harvey, and Pierre before going home using my first ever iridium sprinkler for my starfruit, which I don't know how to use an iridium sprinkler. Day 71, I spent waiting for my beautiful Pam to take me to the desert. I gifted Sandy for her birthday and went ahead to do just another casual Skull Caverns run. I didn't have bombs, I just had some cheese and a spicy eel, and I made a bit of progress. I made a little bit of a haul, but I mainly was just trying to see what I could do without bombs because I wasn't trying to go on any serious run anytime soon. And I left and ran into Sandy and Emily, and I was like, hello, and this was my haul. Last night we had a windstorm but did not stop the fall festival from happening. Here was my lineup of items. You see the shorts, you see the shorts. I was proud. Here's to say Mayor Lewis was not proud and he was pissed off at me, and he didn't really give me anything, but I got my rare crow. I dedicated the morning of 73 to chop down some trees before heading over to Harvey to give him his daily coffee. I went to open some geodes and mystery boxes, and as always didn't get much, but I did have a couple things to donate to Gunther, so I went ahead and did that before going up to finally upgrade my house. This was a commitment. I went ahead and gave Linus a gift, and I went to the spa to just recuperate because it's crazy here. The morning door pounder today was Evelyn, but at least she came and gave me a box for my produce. I went and got some pickles and jelly, and of course sold them right away. And I went and gifted Marnie. I just went around and gifted a couple people. Opened a mystery box just with a warp totem. Lame. Gifted Haley. And then gave Marnie a quest gift. And then I went to bed super duper early. This morning, Mommy Caroline asked me to give a pumpkin for her stinky daughter. So I waited and waited and waited at her dining room table, and I know what she was doing in her tea room. Anyways, I got her that pumpkin for Abigail, and then I went to the magical cart. As always, can you guess it? There really was nothing. So I went and cleared some things on my farm and sold a lot of just the leftover things before going to bed. I went ahead and gave a fried egg to the chef's bundle. It's never gonna be the truffle. For some reason, Clint wanted a coconut. Like, okay, sure. And then I got some mystery boxes, so I went right back to Clint to open up those mystery boxes, and it was terrible. And I went and finished up those iron bars around my house, and I even painted my wood green because it just looks more cozy. Today I had a jelly harvest, and then I spent my daily time of breaking my whole farm to pieces, and I went to bed. But we leveled up 10 in farming, and I went with artisan. Day 78 is another day, another sleigh, another Skull Caverns mining a day. I was actually really mad because, as you can see, I brought bombs. I was prepared. But I didn't even make it as far as I did the first run. That's why I said it may or may not be the best run we ever had. I even got a dino floor and didn't get a dang egg, so it was just bad juju for me, and I hated this day, honestly. So we're done. Apparently day 79 I still hated day 78 because this was all I did. Okay. On day 80 we had another baby duckling who I named Alice. Look how cute. I gifted Harvey his coffee, of course, because he doesn't love me. I went on a stone collecting run, and then I walked into a Harvey and George cutscene, which was weird, so I left. And then I went to bed. But don't worry, day 81 we locked in. I went fishing, I went mining literally all day, and then I went back to my farm and I cut down more trees before I went to bed. I stayed up late this night. I was committed. On day 82, I worked on some pathing because one of my goals was to make my farm pretty, aka something that I would be willing to live on, and so far it's not. So I just kind of added some details, you know, some stone pathings, made it all quirky and really fun. I added some loose stone, you know, I mixed it up a little bit. Day 83, I had a little bit of a harvest, some pumpkins and some eggplants. I checked on my starfruit, which is almost done, and I did some more pathing. The stones I'm obsessed with. I think they look really great. I did some fencing, and then I was trying to figure out this tree farm for ages, and this is what I finally decided with. And then I went to the Spirits Eve festival where I bought my rare crow, of course. I aced that maze like it was nobody's business, and I got my golden pumpkin. Day 84, the last day of fall, I had a fairy rose honey to pick up, which I didn't know would still grow because I was missing a flower. And I got my final eggs and duck feathers of the season, and I had my first starfruit harvest, which meant wine. Couldn't finish a couple bundles because of my lack of brain, and I was hoping my apples would grow for the last day because I have a tree planted in my greenhouse. Anyways, we did a last minute school cavern run, which, as they all end up being, just dreadful, so I'm just gonna cut it right here to save your misery. Happy winter, happy day 85, happy ugly farm. Ah, good morning, chickens. I revamped this tree farm again because I'm indecisive, but I think the stone wall and the iron wall is just my favorite. Apparently I was running around looking for this single foraging that I couldn't find, and I went and bought some bombs because school caverns. I'm really trying with that thing, guys, and it drives me insane. So this is our prep for our next school cavern run. This morning I learned how to make sashimi. Robin's selling a wood chipper, and I have a quest from Willie, which I do none of. But who's this little guy? I chased him through town. Bom, ba, ba, bom. I can read secret notes, which we don't even get to in this playthrough. Anyway, here's that super unserious school caverns run, which is just bad as the rest. I really didn't want to use staircases, and so it was just dreadful. And I made no progress. Please help me, teach me, please. Day 87, I just had a mushroom harvest, tree tap harvest, a mayo harvest. I'm just a queen over here making my money. I opened some geos which had nothing, and then I check on my apple tree every day. I won't show you, but it's an everyday thing, waiting to finish the bundle. Because I don't have kegs, I made starfruit jelly, which is finally ready to be harvested today, so I'm very excited for the shmoney I'm going to get. And I did some organizing, apparently. Yeah. Day 89, I just wanted to remind you, my animals are alive and thriving, but you know what's not is my pig, so I won't get truffle. So I go to the cart lady, like crossing my fingers she has a truffle, and she doesn't. So I ran around my farm, town, everywhere, and I don't know why. Day 90, Clint asks me to help him with Emily, and I said no. Instead, I built a deluxe coop. We're officially 10 days away from the finish line. I'm not sure why this is my priority, but it is. So, animals. At 6 a.m. I appear banging on my door, pretty much giving me a sales pitch. Like, what if I went with Joja? Pierre, what freaking if? Anyways, I heard about the night festival, and I got some starfruit wine and jelly and sold that. And then I went to the magical cart for, what do I need? Nothing that's there, but they did have that red cabbage seed, which I will be putting my time and effort into making sure grows, because then the only thing in my way is a truffle, which, don't get me started, but we have the cabbage. I guess my thought for day 92 is that you could just see my entire day, but sped up, so I really hope you enjoy this raw, uncut footage. So here's my morning routine that you never see. I guess you get to see it today. And I went and sold everything, and then I went up to see my homegirl Robin, who, guess what, she was in aerobics club, so I couldn't get my deluxe barn, so instead I ran around like a crazy woman foraging everything in sight. Day 94, I got my jelly. Obviously day 100 is peering around the corner, so I'm praying my cabbage and apples grow. And today I got my first shed built, and then I harvested some mayo and cheese, sold those things away, and decided to decorate around my shed because I'm gonna get 2 somehow before the year ends. But I couldn't manage to get a freaking truffle. But I did manage to finish the winter foraging bundle. Day 95, the countdown is on, and I'm literally watering this cabbage and apple tree with my tears, hoping that they grow. TikTok told me to put trigger barrels and kegs outside of my shed so I know when something's finished, and I thought that was smart, so I did it. Day 96, I filled my shed with some barrels, and somehow another chick hatched. This is Elsie. I didn't even know she was possible to come here. Anyways, I went fishing for a bit just to try to get some last minute coin. I finally updated my rod, and I just fished my life away. And then I got some cheese and sold it. Went to the magical cart lady for the truffle. No, not the truffle. You were wrong. It's not the truffle. Day 97, did anything grow? almost, but no, we're putting it so close, so close. So I decided to rearrange my farm just a bit to kind of get it somewhere I'd be comfortable and actually like. I placed this shed, which actually ends up getting moved again. I upgraded my pickaxe because I literally haven't. Then I forgot we have this quarry, so I just bombed the heck out of it and broke down all the trees. On day 98, our first apple had grown, which I knew we would have all 3 by day 100. I am holding out hope for this hippo pig lady, and she disappoints me every day. Harvey got one of his last coffees of my 100 days, and he still doesn't love me. But happy birthday, King. I went and did a couple more paths around the farm, just adding some finishing touches, things that I am doing just to pass time. And I made this area a smelting area for minerals and resources. Having a designated area just feels more organized, and I just enjoy that more. Day 99, baby. I'm clearing some grass to decorate around my second shed, which I will move into place later. Look at my cherry barrel worked. All these jellies were done and ready to be collected. And I collected my mayonnaise and cheese. And look at that cabbage. Tell me how I got the cabbage without year 1 completion, but I couldn't get a freaking truffle. Anyways, I moved my shed into place, and then I go over to the community center and complete the dye bundle, the one I thought I wasn't even going to be close to competing. But we completed it. Now we're getting all sentimental. Clint gave me my final pickaxe upgrade for the video. I revamped the sheds a little bit. I had 1 keg and 1 barrel shed, and they both had their little trigger barrels. Thanks, TikTok. Ask me why I went to the night market only to look for a truffle. That was it. Plot twist, not a single person had it, and I was banging my keyboard against the wall in this current moment. Ladies and gentlemen, day 100. No thanks to the pig, hippo, magical cart lady, we have made it here. Let's take our final look at my chickens and ducks as we get their final eggs, and we go see my cows for the very last time. Yes, this is the most depressing barn you've ever seen. I don't care because I gave up once I could not get pigs because I didn't have year 1 completion. But just imagine, I thought I did, and I got the pigs. Anyway, I went and got those 3 apples, which was the most satisfying thing in my life because they were fully grown on my 100th day. That was, honestly, y'all, that was pure luck. It was pure luck. So I go to the community center, and this is our last place to go. I complete that bundle. Don't have the truffle, but here we are. I just go ahead and do some final things, make some cheese, make some mayo, just fully live out the 100-day dream of an incomplete community center. You're honestly never going to hear the end of it. I hope one day we continue with my pig Donna. I did go to the night market just in case, just in case. No, it was a no, so I went home crying, and that was our full 100 days, everybody. This is it. Here we are. And there we have it, a full 100 days playing Stardew Valley. We had some ups and downs, we had some good days and bad days. To think I could have completed my community center if I committed to get pigs, even not having year 1 completion, it would have been done. It would have been done. So obviously we got really close, but as far as goals go, we did not complete the community center. I feel like I didn't collect as many things as I would have liked to, but I definitely think there was visible progress from day 1 to day 100. And I'm pretty happy with my farm. There's a couple things we could have done differently or I could have added, but overall, I enjoy the aesthetic of it in general. Honestly though, I fell in love with the save. I'm already considering a day 100 through 200 and playing more on here because I just enjoyed it so much, and this video took a long time, but it was really fun to put together. So if you enjoyed it, make sure to let me know just by leaving a like on the video or comment about what your favorite part was. Me having a mental breakdown about my truffles was probably the biggest crash out I've ever had. Anyways, thanks for being here, and I hope to see you again soon.